all this stuff, right? He was told the earth was flat, okay? And they believed the earth was flat, okay? So if everybody in their human mind, okay, if they can't see it, they're going to deny it exists. The same way people say there's no such thing. We're the only life in the whole entire universe. If you believe we're the only ones here, something is wrong.
Well, they thought like there was no other land except, pretty much Europe and Asia. They didn't think there was a North and South America until they discovered it. So, whatever someone tells them at that time, they're going to believe it. So,
well, that's why the creator of
that's the scary
the
thing.
Star Trek franchises and all that stuff.
Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah, he actually had a vision, and his mind was open because he believed there was life out there. And I do think there's life out there, and I think there's so much on this earth that we don't know about. Every so often they'll dredge something out of the ocean that they're shocked that they say, oh my God, this is prehistoric. How could it exist?
Where'd this come from?
Yeah, I mean, there's always finding new things out, a new species of
like
a fish
glaciers
or
and stuff.
a bee or an ant or a creature it comes up from the bottom of the ocean they didn't think could exist. We don't know everything.
Or something they thought was extinct and all this time has been living somewhere else.
Well, we haven't mapped our whole ocean yet.
Yeah, and then Kevin,
we haven't even
came close.
There's parts of the ocean we can't get to. We don't have the technology.
We can't go down that deep. No,
because the pressure is so high, it would destroy
the machines that we try to send down would be crushed.
Yeah, and then how
can we go down there?
And how do these creatures live down 1,000 feet?
Because the pressure.
Oh, but I mean, just look how they evolved.
But they can't survive up here.
No, they can't. They can only survive in something that would make us a flatter than a dime.
And their
evolution.
And their senses are extremely keen.
Yeah, and most of them are predators because they have to be.
Okay.
I mean, as things
have to be.
Yeah.
What if all the prehistoric animals were in sort of all the ocean prehistoric animals were in sort of deep down ocean? What if
that's what we're just talking about.
Yeah. What if they were all deep down there and we don't know about it yet? They did a show on Family Guy. I think it was Family Guy or I think it was Family Guy or South Park that the cast ended up in a prehistoric Neanderthal civilization.
Well, okay, but you look at this. How about the hollow earth theory? There is actually scientists believe that there is a part of the earth that has deep caves and
there's
that could be
undiscovered areas.
Yeah, it could be actually creatures that we don't know of walking around. It either could be prehistoric,
and they come out at night, and just so happens people are able to take pictures, and they just go right back into the undiscovered area that we don't know about.
Yeah,
like that Sasquatch. What if he went back into his undiscovered area?
How about if the Bigfoot
or the giants
travels in time too? You never know. Aliens.
That's
you don't know.
Part.
This is the whole point of the show. I mean, you don't know.
That's why we got to come up with these theories.
That's the whole reason to have the show, is to try and nail some of this stuff down and broaden our horizons and look at the different possibilities.
Oh yeah,
the different thought processes. There are people out there who have spent their entire lives and careers studying certain anomalies.
Oh yeah,
that we're going to end up talking about over the next.
Whenever, yeah. I mean, people have went to the cemeteries with their little recorders, right? They're the only one in the cemetery walking around, and when they play their tape back,
some of the noises those people record. Wow.
Oh, I remember listening.
I was haunted houses and things like that.
Well, what do you get? Because I've never heard recordings except on that show Ghostbusters or Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunters, but that's what I've been trying to get him to do. I bought a recorder, okay.
I ride at night.
We live a few miles away from a very old cemetery, and you know what? One of these nights when I get brave enough, I'm going to sit there with my recorder, and walk around at night.
You could have asked me last night. I took a picture. I was out riding last night. You could have told me to go to the cemetery last night and try to record something on my phone. It would have been scary, very scary.
I was a real bad father. I'm going to admit this, okay? When Kevin was growing up, he had some problems with discipline.
Phobias.
Yeah, and I could threaten him any which way. If he wasn't going to behave, he was going to be disciplined, right? I only found one thing that worked. And you know what that was, Ryan? He used to like watching the Living Dead shows, right? Yeah. So you know what I do? We'd be driving around, and he was acting really bad. I drive up to this old cemetery, right? And
I'd freak out.
And I'd say, "I'm leaving you at the cemetery," and he would start crying, and then he'd behave really good for 2-3 days.
Because I was back when I was a kid, I was obsessed with zombie movies.
With what works.
And
well, it worked. I mean, but some of these recordings too. I mean, I've heard them. Like on the old Art Bell show, he would have two people in with their, their electronic devices. Even on a recorded thing with the record tape, they would show up. You hear like little kids asking questions,
and they wouldn't hear it when they were there.
No,
that'd be scary.
And there's nobody else there. Just the two of them.
And they're asking questions that they can't hear the answers to, but when they play the tapes back, they're hearing it.
Oh, yeah. Hi, why are you here? All this type of weird stuff, or where's mommy? Or
leave us alone.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Give me a pack of cigarettes.
And here's me laying in the bunk of a truck in the middle of nowhere, listening to these shows.
Well, I'd be scared, that? I mean, I honestly don't know how people, even woodsmen, can go out in the forest, right, and pitch a tent or put a tarp up, right, and not be scared. I don't know. I guess I'm a coward, But I tell you, when you ran across what I ran across that time out in the woods, I have, my wife, for her whole marriage, honestly, we went camping one time, and she always asked me, why can't we go camping? Why can't we take the kids camping? Well, I'll tell you a little secret, okay? When you run across what I ran across, you won't ever want to go in the woods again, period.
I've been camping one time in a place where it was when the sun went down and if it was overcast, which it was when we were there, and you stepped outside, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. It was that freaking dark.
Oh, wow.
And you start hearing noises. And luckily for us, this was along the White River.
Uh-huh.
So the river drowned out a lot of the noises. But just stepping out, and we had a travel trailer at the time. Stepping outside of that travel trailer and walking 3 or 4 feet away from it, turning around and not being able to see the damn thing.
Yeah. Well,
that's how dark it was.
When I was in high school, we went up to Roslyn, me and the teacher at Top Photography, and I think like 5 or 6 other students. We went up there, because it was kind of like half ghost town. And, we went up there camping. And the place he picked, we got there kind of like it was getting dark, so we set up our tents. We were across the street from the cemetery, which Roslyn goes back to like the 1830s and stuff like that. You're talking a real old cemeteries there of miners and stuff like that. And I tell you, when I woke up and I looked out the tent and it was bright light and I saw we were across the street from the cemetery. I mean, he wanted to spend 2 days there, and everybody said no. We're not going.
No, I think we'll find another.
No, yeah, we're not going to spend another night there.
What do you think about people?
And it's funny because my wife, one of my wife's hobbies, she hasn't done it in a long time, but one of her hobbies is photographing, going and taking pictures in old cemeteries.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things she does when she's there is she looks at all the different headstones of the markers, and she'll notice, oh wow, there's a lot of children in this graveyard. There's a lot of young women or old, middle-aged men or whatever.
Well, they died young.
But it'll tell you a lot lot about that area.
Yeah, and they died young because, I mean, like in Roswell, for example, a lot of them died in the mines. So, I mean, and then the young people, you saw a lot of people dead before 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. The life expectancy back in the 1830s, 1860s, 1870s, face it, I mean, most people, I hate to say it, didn't go past 30-some years old, and a lot of them, passed.
Yep.
So, I mean, but going into, I don't know, I mean, I want to go. That's one of the things I want to do, and I'm working on for my show to find somebody. It does that. It goes into cemeteries and does recordings, and for we can hear it. I mean, I do believe there could be. I can't explain it because I don't know how to explain it in my mind. But I know that when we pass, there's got to be something more. Even if we're just a metrics and something of some aliens computer chip playing a game, and we're nothing more than that on this earth, and Earth doesn't even exist because it's a game, it just makes me want to learn more. So when people have a closed eyes and say, oh, there was no such thing as giants, there was no such thing as UFOs, no such thing as aliens, and there's no such thing as paranormal ghosts, then, they're only living from the minute to minute. I mean, that's all I look at it.
And the thing that gets me about a lot of those people is that they're the ones that believe in God or a God. Okay, so if I'm not allowed to believe in aliens or giants or UFOs or any of that, but I'm supposed to let you tell me what is okay to believe in.
Yeah.
Well, what do
I
you?
don't think so. I think we should all be able to believe in whatever the hell we want.
Oh yeah.
Well, what do you think about people living off the grid? And what about them, like, believing?
What about them?
Well, they have their own freedom of choosing of what they want to believe in and whatnot. So
They've got the same freedoms all of us have.
Exactly. So,
But the government don't want you to live off the grid. That's another story right there. They
the
do
government
not want
wants
you.
They want
I
you
read
to be
about
dependent
that.
on them.
I read about that too.
Yeah.
That you can't you
I
can't
mean,
do that.
they've actually put people in jail because they wanted to collect rainwater, Kevin, in a barrel to save on the
Yeah,
ecology.
now isn't that about a bunch of horse crap?
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. You should be if you want to sit there and recycle rainwater
Because you're
for
not
your
paying
garden.
taxes. That's why. If
Well,
you're not paying taxes, you can't live off the grid. Pretty much.
Well, just like I was watching this.
They want to know where you are. They want to know, they want to be able to send you. They want to know, if you have an address or not. If you don't have a mailing address, then there's the problem.
Well, and I was.
It boils down to taxation and control.
Control is, I think, more than even taxation.
If they can't
they want to
find you.
control you. I was watching this show again, and it was they were talking about the water, and this government spokesman said, "You don't own the water. Water is not free. Water should be whatever rates the government sets it at. We own the rights, or corporation owns the right to the water. You don't have any right to any water unless you pay for it."
Water's no different than oxygen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Water's
But you know
very
what?
basic human right.
Maybe 30 years from now, society will be where you know how bad we screw up this world. You might be paying $5 for a liter of water.
Well, look at Tesla. Okay, Tesla wanted to show us how we could have free electricity. How we shouldn't have to pay for electricity. Okay. What became of that?
Yeah, what
They
became
don't
of
wanna-
him?
The
They don't
government
wanna
got
pursue
involved.
it.
That's what became of it.
They don't
Yeah.
want to pursue it because they can't tax it.
Well,
If we give everyone
no,
free electricity, then why? Well, it's going to put a lot of people out of work.
Well, the rival, I don't remember if it was Westinghouse or GE, one of the other power
that's why
guys.
Trump is not pursuing wind power and solar power and stuff like
Kevin,
that.
I just want to say, we were talking about Tesla for a split second, okay? They gave him enough money to hang himself, to get it going, right? And then they shut him off to bankrupt him, just purposely to destroy him, because they didn't want him to give free power, okay? They wanted to make money on it. So if it was free, they couldn't make money. So they didn't want him around. So at that point, they discredited him and kept discrediting him till he died. And then when he died, all his records, all of them, the FBI came in, took it all, and there's no trace of it now. It doesn't exist.
Well,
Not
there's
for me or you.
Well, there's other ways to come up with like free power. I mean,
let's put it this
hydroelectric,
way.
solar. Anyway,
Oh, come
Well,
on! If you
there's
did,
power, there's power in the air. Okay,
yeah,